Hey guys, welcome to Jake Makes. Today on this episode, we're going to be building the heaviest, excuse me, the awesomest Viking shield in the history of human existence. Because what could be better than a regular Viking shield? Only one thing, of course, which is a Viking shield that is way too heavy to even use. Hold on. You know, despite weighing a metric ton, I must say this thing is actually pretty dang cool. Anyway guys, to build this Viking shield, these are the things I'm going to be using. Some leather for a strap, a frying pan with the handle suspiciously missing, a piece of 1x2, which suspiciously looks like it was cut out of a 2x8. And a piece of thin metal sheet. I have no idea what gauge it is. You're also gonna need some screws. Oh, and I forgot to mention the main ingredient, which is a couple of pallets, which are way too big to fit on my work table. So you're gonna have to use your imagination. That's all I can think of that I'm gonna be needing, so let's get started. Oh gosh. Now, I'm making this Viking shield out of pallets, but I'm breathing hard because I've been working already. I tried to tear these things apart with a hammer and a pry bar, but the wood is too old and kind of rotten-ish. I can't get it apart with a hammer and a pry bar, it just cracks the wood. So instead, I'm gonna have to break out the big guns and use a sawzall. That'll do it. Alright, now I need to sort through all these, get rid of the bad ones, the split ones, the more rotten ones, keep only the good ones that are still fairly solid, and clean up a giant mess. I think Dad took the broom to work today, so, lovely. The trouble I'm gonna have making this shield out of pallets is that pallets are inherently not perfect. They're not straight on the edges, they've got bumps and dings and all kinds of other nastiness going on. And yes, there are rabbits in that box in the shop. I know, like, Dad says it's to keep them from dying of cold. I still don't want them in the shop. Alright, first thing to do is try to clean them up just a little bit to see if I'm going to be able to stick them together. The idea was to use some wood glue and some screws to hold this whole contraption together. I'm not sure if that's going to work. I'm not sure if the wood glue is actually going to be able to stick to these because they're so uneven and inconsistent. But we'll have to see. So I'm just going to clean them up first, and we'll move on from there. Traditional Viking shields are usually about 3 feet in diameter. Occasionally they were smaller for fighting on horseback and that sort of thing, but that's the average size, or so Wikipedia told me. Why does my tape measure have a split in it? Alright, now I'm going to wait for the glue to dry. How long does it take to dry? "24 hours? 24 hours? Ah. Whew, alright, it's been a while. 24 hours. 24 hours later, let's get back to work. Okay, fine, it's been over a week. As mentioned earlier, Viking shields were about 36 inches in diameter typically, so that's what I'm going to make mine. 36 inches in diameter means you have a... Oh shoot, I have to do math. Pardon me for a moment. Upon further review, 36 divided by 2 is 18. So, we'll mark 18 inches. This is our center point. Pallets are 52.5 inches. 52.5 divided by 2 will be 26. So, our center point should be right where these two lines cross. Take and drive a small nail right into that center point. That gives us an anchor point directly in the center of our squarish shaped object to then tie a string around. We will put a loop in one end which will hook around the nail, and then we will tie a pencil to the other end so that the string and pencil is exactly the same as our radius, which in this case is 18 inches. And we can then draw a perfect circle. Our frying pan, Shield Boss, is 8 inches in diameter exactly. So we will need the hole in the center of the shield to logically be a little bit less than 8 inches, so we have something to screw the frying pan boss down to. We need to have wood to screw it down to logically. I'm gonna go with 6 inches. 6 divided by 2 is shouldn't have to think for this one. It's 3, I'm kidding, I know. I actually can do math. I promise. I just unintentionally created the heaviest Viking shield in the history of humans. I now know why traditional Viking shields only had 1 layer of wood rather than 2. That was a bad move on my part. This is way too heavy for a shield. I have also decided that all of these screw heads are way too pretty to be facing the enemy, so I'm going to turn it around and make this the outside, where only I can see the inside, because that would be really lame if I put all this beautifulness on the outside where I couldn't see it. It just makes me so happy looking at it. Now we'll go to work on the handle. Now we've got the handle attached. Oh yeah, that's nice. Besides the fact that it's ridiculously heavy. This thing is so heavy, I went inside and did a little bit more research on Viking shields and found that the heaviest of Viking shields were thought to come in at about 15 to 20 pounds. This shield right now comes in at 22 pounds. I am not the strongest dude. No, actually, my arms are like the size of toothpicks. Really small toothpicks. This is a 36-inch diameter Viking shield, as we already discussed. Upon further research, I found that Viking shields are usually anywhere from 32 to 36 inches in diameter, depending on the stature of the Viking. So I'm seriously considering cutting down this shield, because right now this is not functional for me at all. And I can only have a functional shield because I fight lots of battles against Vikings. I'll cut it down. Alright, I just went and cut the shield down to 32 and 3/4 inches. Let's see how much it weighs now. 18 pounds, 15 ounces. So about 19 pounds. Well, that's 4 pounds lighter. Doesn't feel like anything. Feels exactly the same. But that's about as good as we're gonna get. So, if you make you a Viking shield, know that if you double layer the pallets, it's gonna be really heavy. Now before we go any farther, we need to go ahead and paint or put a finish on the shield, because it'll be more difficult to do that after we have the boss and the metal in place. So I'm going to go ahead and sand it with this orbital sander, get everything nice and smooth. Then I'm going to go and put a stain on the back side flip it around, and then paint the front side. I think it'll look pretty classy if we have the back side stained and then we have kind of a two-tone thing going. I think it'll look really, really cool. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Not quite period accurate, but for being a frying pan, I think that's pretty darn good. What's that you say? You think I have a cleaning problem? I don't know what you're talking about. This isn't paint, by the way. This is the blood of my fallen foes. This right here is the hard part. Putting the metal sheeting around the outside of the shield. I've been trying to figure out how to do it, and so I went ahead and did one section of it, just trying to figure out the best way to do it before turning the camera on. So now I kind of know what I'm doing. First, you're going to want to make two cuts, one here and one here, each a third of the way through the piece of metal, every 4 inches. So you stick that on top there. Once you have those two done, go ahead and bend it down like that and hammer on it to get the creases nice and sharp. Then just start working your way around the shield, repeating that process. Then we turn it over and do the other side. Wait a minute, I'm done. The shield is done. Cue the cool clips and music. awesomest Viking shield. I did not realize that double layering the pallets would make it so heavy. I didn't realize it would weigh that much. The whole thing put together probably weighs right at about 20 pounds, which for a super strong person with big beefy arms like myself, I mean it's nothing. Feels like a feather. If I'd known it was going to be this heavy, then I would have just done one layer of pallets and done a few cross braces, much like a traditional Viking shield, instead of double layering it like this. If you build one of these, I would recommend not doing the 2 layers of pallets and just doing 1 layer with the cross braces, like I just said. Oh well, you live and learn. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and holy crap! Check out!